Just following up on some of the things we talked about in the past week, sort of touching base with you guys on the structure of balancing in-class workshops with online Canvas work, with various forms of sort of digital interaction. So I wanted to sort of remind you about not just how attendance works in this course, because I think you kind of have that down by now, but sort of what the logic is behind it. As you know, attendance in this course, in the physical in-class workshops, like in the Bibb Graves classroom, is always optional. And I did that for about 3 reasons. So one of them is I don't want you guys to feel pressured to come to class if you are feeling ill, right? Because that's a risk to the community around you, right? Like just, like people who spread the disease, like the coronavirus, without knowing that that's what they're doing, right? They don't feel like they kind of think, well, if I had COVID, surely I would feel worse than this. So I don't want you to feel pressured on that front. I also don't want you to feel pressured to come if you are, particularly concerned about catching COVID for whatever reason, right? So I don't want that's bad for you. So like in the one instance, it's kind of bad for the people around you, and the other instance, it's bad for you. I don't want either of those things to happen. But then the third reason is really based in sort of instructional principles and how I have approached attendance for a long time, even when there is no pandemic and everybody's, hopefully doing okay. And that is like, I've always kind of thought of attendance in a college class as being a little bit like getting a gym membership. Bear with me here. If you buy a gym membership, right, and you're paying your dues and so forth, and you come to the gym and you take advantage of that membership to like get in shape, great, good for you. If you buy the same gym membership and you are paying your dues regularly and you slack off and you don't go to the gym is not going to be really upset with you, okay? If you're buddies with some of the coaches or the staff or whatever, they may think, gosh, so-and-so was really regular for a while and then they stopped coming. They may wonder what's up, but they're not going to take offense, and you're not cheating the gym out of anything because you're the one who's not getting what you're paying for. And I kind of think in a normal semester when we have no corona issues floating around us, that's kind of how I think of skipping college classes. And so even this semester, attendance is still kind of like getting a gym membership, but with all of the sort of extra activities outside the classroom. Some of those operate a little bit less like going to the gym and getting on the treadmill by yourself, and more you've already got the gym membership and you're participating in whatever, you come a couple times a week and you do your treadmill thing, but you also sign up for a boot camp class or a CrossFit session or whatever it is, okay? Yoga, I don't know. And again, if you miss a session, the gym is not going to be mad. You haven't cheated the gym out of anything. You've just missed your session. A lot of gyms will offer you sign up for so many sessions in a week, like it's part of your dues or whatever, whether that's boot camp or CrossFit or yoga or whatever, you're entitled to X number of special sessions in a week. And if you miss one, you can make it up. They've got multiple versions of the same kind of class. Maybe they're taught by different instructors or they're taught at different times a day, but it's the same kind of deal. And, if you miss the one that you were planning on going to, you can just pick a different one and go to that, and you make it up, and it's all good. Some gyms will also, if you miss a CrossFit class or whatever, you can email the gym or call them up or whatever and say, hey, can I get the list of activities for the workout of the day so I can, do as many of them at home as possible, and, I'll miss some stuff, but I won't miss as much as, I'll get caught back up and I won't be really behind, the rest of my team or whatever. And, some gyms will say, nope, you come and you get the instructions or you don't get them. And other gyms are like, sure, here's the list, right? It just kind of depends. The reason I'm saying that this is kind of similar to what we're doing this semester with attendance is with the small group activities that I held for you, the virtual workshops that I held for you this past week. Those work very much in a similar way to the CrossFit or the yoga or the whatever, in that there are a number of them, and you can come to actually in my course you can come to as many of them as you want to, right? Like, unlike the gym, I'm not setting a limit and saying you can only have two or whatever. Given the opportunity, I'm a good deal more flexible than most gyms are going to be, because if I didn't like doing this kind of thing and interacting with students in small groups and stuff, I'd probably have picked a different career field, because English composition is a type of course that usually requires a lot of instructor interaction with students, either one-on-one or in small groups, and even the class sizes are smaller than they are for a lot of, big lecture type courses. So this is a thing that I like doing, and so I'm not ever unhappy to be doing it. But 3 courses that I'm teaching this semester, so 2 of them are 112s, and I've got a 111 that's all online. And across those courses, I've got either 62 or 63 students. As of Friday, I had one student who was thinking about dropping, and I don't know yet if I have that one or not. But say 60-ish students. It's good. And so I have the hours that I'm in the physical classroom every week, not for 111, but for all my 112 sections. And then I have an office hour a week for every course that I teach, so that's 3 hours. Although this is fine, and it's not like it's too much of a workload. This is very manageable, and I genuinely enjoy it, and I'm not complaining about the workload, okay? That's not where we're headed with this. Where we are headed with this is, back to the number of, the total number of students, around 60. And so when we start talking about doing individual sessions, I'm, in general, pleased to do them. I think they are instructionally valuable, and if you cannot come to digital office hours for whatever reason, I'm usually happy to make an additional appointment. That often works out really well. I truly loved doing the virtual workshops this past week, and I hope, I plan on us doing a bunch more of those as the semester goes on. Working with you guys in small groups is great. Watching you interact with each other's ideas, as well as kind of, bouncing things off of me, that was really, I thought it was working well in the moment, and then as I saw your ideas and your written work start to develop over the course of the week, it was clear, yes, this was helping. This was a good thing. So that's awesome. But I have to put some kind of limits on the number of them that I do in any week, because if you start to multiply 1-hour sessions by the number of people that I teach, then you get a total of 60 more hours a week. And that's not bad, but scheduling 60 hours of those at times when the other people could also do them is going to be less manageable. And that, I don't mean to discourage you. Most weeks, I don't have 60 people who all want individual conferences, okay? That would be a really unusual thing. But in a week where we are doing a lot of the virtual workshops, if you are requesting an individual virtual conference, I can't do it for everybody every week, so I have to put some limits on how much individual instruction I give any particular student, so that I can give some to everybody, right? So it can be fair. And if you are wanting to attend a workshop, whether it's in class or in the physical classroom or a virtual workshop, some weeks it really won't work out with your schedule very well for the virtual workshops, because they're kind of whenever I can, first of all, do it myself, so I don't have something else scheduled at that time. I'm not supposed to be somewhere else teaching or whatever. I'm not supposed to be in the doctor's office or whatever it is at that particular time. And then usually I'm looking for at least 3 or 4 students who are interested in doing it and can do it at that time, right? So trying to get the most bang for the buck, so to speak. I had about 5 or 6 of these virtual workshops last week, and there were still a few people who could not attend any of them, and that was unfortunate. But I mean, I can only build in so many. I have not been, and don't plan on starting, tracking why you miss class on a particular day. If you're in the group that's invited and you don't show up, it could be because you're under quarantine, it could be because you slept late, it could be because you picked up extra hours at work or whatever. And I have not been, trying to assess, why is so-and-so not here? Or, kind of micromanage, whether it's a good reason. If you're not in class, I assume that whatever reason you had for not coming was a reason that was good to you, and it's your life, it's not mine. You're an adult. If whatever reason you have for missing seems like a reason that is good to you, do that. But don't miss the workshop that you were invited to, and miss all of the virtual workshops that are provided, and miss my office hours, and ask not just for like, hey, I have a couple of quick questions, but for an entire recap, like for me to essentially teach the entire workshop over again for just one person, like another 50-minute or 1 hour workshop for just one. That is not fair. Fair to your classmates who are making the effort to make it work to come to class or to virtual workshops at particular times. And I know there will be weeks when it is just a bad week or when scheduling just does not work. But assuming that you don't have some really overriding reason for missing the in-class workshop you're invited to, that one at least should be time that is set aside, okay? Because you are already scheduled for the class then, right? So, I mean, telling me you have a conflict during the class period that we already have, so you need your own private instructional session, is a little bit much. And I'm not trying to discourage you from reaching out for help. I'm trying to tell you there are other people in the class who also need my help. And, you know, as a courtesy to them and to me and to like the students in my other classes, before you request a whole hour's worth of personalized instruction, be sure you take advantage of all of the already existing opportunities to learn the material and ask questions and get feedback and practice on your own and send an email to like see if you're doing it right. Those kinds of things. Because that makes it much more possible for me to, from 1 week to the next, continue scheduling plenty of virtual workshops at different times of day to complement what we are doing in the in-class workshops, and particularly to add on to and enrich the work that we are doing in writing and reading on Canvas. I'm not calling out any one person, I'm not even one particular class, because this was in all of my classes, and it was not one person in any course section, right? And I am super impressed with how much grace and poise and organizational skill and thoughtfulness you have shown, like all of you as just kind of as a cohort coming into this semester, where like 2020 just keeps throwing curveballs at us, you know? I'm telling you this because it's something that you may not have thought about that really does affect how instruction continues and how effective it can be over the course of the semester. So I don't mean to scold anybody, and I don't want you to feel bad. I just want you to be thinking sort of strategically about how you can make the most of the times that you can get to this, that, or the other workshop. And sort of think about, like, think as a team, all right? Like, you're a member of a team here. We're all pulling toward finals week in December together. And I hope that that kind of helps you to understand what some of my reasoning is when I have to say, I really can't schedule another one today, or when I have to say, all right, but let's wait until until 5 or 6 people can do one at the same time, because that's, you know, more efficient. The more students I can reach and the more effective we can be as a team, the happier that'll make me. And I think it'll probably work out well for you guys as well. Okay, bye. I will see you in class on our rotating schedule starting tomorrow for this coming week. And please do feel free to continue reaching out via Canvas messaging and email. Just know that if I have to turn down an individualized conference, it's not because I don't care about how you're doing, and it's not because you have overstepped. It's just practical. Okay? Talk to you soon.